Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about men that most men will never admit. See, we walk around like we strong, like we in control, like we ain't pressed over nobody. But the truth is every man walking this earth has a fantasy woman in his mind, and sometimes he ain't never gonna say it out loud, even when she's right in front of him. And some of y'all don't even realize you are that fantasy. Men often hide their deepest feelings out of fear of rejection or losing control, and this truth goes deeper than most people realize. See, men grow up learning to protect themselves long before they learn how to express what's really going on inside. From childhood, they hear things like, man up, stop crying, be strong, don't depend on nobody. So by the time a man becomes an adult, he's trained to hold everything in. He learns that showing too much emotion feels risky, feels like weakness, feels like giving someone the power to hurt him. And when he finally meets a woman who stirs something real in him, he don't know what to do with all that emotion rushing through him like a storm he can't control. A man will look at the woman he wants and feel things he can't even describe, and instead of stepping forward boldly, he hesitates. He hesitates because he fears losing her before he even has her. He fears that if he says too much too soon, she might pull away, misunderstand him, or think he's coming on too strong. And that fear, that silent insecurity, makes him retreat even when his heart wants to move closer. It ain't that he doesn't care, it's that he cares so much it scares him. Men fear rejection more than they admit. A man can take losing a job, losing money, losing a fight, but losing the woman he genuinely wants, that hits different, it cuts deeper. A man might hide this behind jokes, behind confidence, behind silence, but inside he's fighting that little voice that says, what if she don't feel the same? What if I'm not enough for her? What if she finds better? And these doubts make him hold back the very feelings he wishes he could confess. When a man is scared of losing control, he gets quiet. He starts watching instead of speaking, thinking instead of acting. He analyzes every little thing because he wants to protect himself from heartbreak. That's why some men fall for a woman and then suddenly start acting distant. It's not that their feelings disappeared, it's that the feelings got too real. A fantasy is safe until it becomes possible. And the moment he realizes you're not just a dream, but a real chance at happiness, he panics a little. He becomes cautious. He builds a wall, not because he wants to shut you out, but because he's trying to make sure he doesn't fall apart if things don't go the way he hopes. Men fear vulnerability because it's the one place where they feel completely exposed. When he lets a woman into his heart, he's handing her the most fragile part of himself. And in his mind, that's a risk bigger than anything else he's faced. So he hides his deepest feelings, not out of disinterest, but out of self-protection. He loves quietly, cares silently, and hopes secretly that you'll see the truth behind his actions, even if he can't find the courage to say the words out loud. A man's fantasy isn't just physical, it's emotional security, inspiration, and peace. And most people don't understand how deep that truly goes. See, a woman might think a man's fantasy is all about looks, shape, or something he can see. But a man who's ready for something real, something meaningful, something he can't replace, is dreaming about a woman who brings a feeling he can't find anywhere else. He craves that emotional comfort, that softness, that understanding that makes him feel like he can finally breathe in a world that keeps demanding strength from him every minute of the day. A man wants to come home to a feeling, not just a face. When a man fantasizes about a woman, he imagines someone who doesn't judge him for every mistake he made along the way. He imagines someone who understands he's trying even when he doesn't always know how to say it. He imagines a woman whose presence feels like a safe spot in a storm, someone who gives him peace when the world tries to pull him in every direction. He imagines being able to talk without pretending, laugh without performing, and sit in silence without feeling distance. Peace is a big part of a man's fantasy because life doesn't give men much of it. And when he meets a woman who carries peace in her presence, that sticks in his mind long after she leaves the room. But emotional security isn't just sweetness, it's trust. A man wants to know that if he opens up to you, his feelings won't be used against him. That's rare for men because they've learned that vulnerability can cost them. A fantasy woman is someone who makes him feel safe enough to let his guard down an inch at a time, someone who listens when he speaks from his heart rather than brushing him off or comparing him to someone else. He dreams of the one person who won't walk away when he shows the parts he usually hides from the world. Then comes inspiration. A man fantasizes about a woman who makes him want to be better, not because she nags, not because she demands, but because her presence alone pushes him to rise. Maybe it's her ambition, her discipline, her kindness, or her strength, but something in her lights a fire in him. She makes him look at his life and say, I can do more. I can be more. Men don't admit it, but they secretly dream of a woman who makes them level up just by being who she is. She doesn't have to fix him. She simply encourages him by example. That kind of woman stays on a man's mind. And when a woman combines peace, inspiration, and emotional safety, that's when she becomes unforgettable. Physical beauty might catch a man's eye, but emotional connection captures his soul. His real fantasy is the woman who makes him feel understood, valued, energized, and calm all at the same time. That combination is powerful, rare, and once he experiences it, he can't shake it. Even if he never says a word, a man's silence often reveals more love than his words, and most women misunderstand this because they expect love to always come loud, expressive, and clear, but men don't operate like that. Silence is where men hide the truth they're not ready to say. Silence is where they place the feelings they can't express. Silence is where their heart speaks in actions because their mouth is too scared to form the words. When a man truly feels something for a woman, he doesn't always announce it. He sits with it. He thinks about it. He analyzes it from every angle because he knows that once he says it out loud, it becomes real, and real is where the fear begins. Men don't talk about their emotions the way women do because they've been trained their whole lives to keep things bottled up. So when he goes silent, especially around the woman he cares for, it's not indifference, it's intensity. He's feeling something that doesn't fit neatly into a sentence. He's trying to process emotions that feel new, powerful, and dangerous all at once. And because he doesn't want to say the wrong thing, he often says nothing instead. Sometimes a man is silent because he's overwhelmed by how much he likes you. He wants to say the right words, but he worries the wrong ones will ruin everything. He wants to show he cares, but he fears that expressing too much will make him look vulnerable, needy, or exposed. So he stays quiet, hoping his presence, his consistency, and his actions speak louder than anything he could say out loud. He thinks showing up for you means more than saying a sentence. He thinks remembering the small things is better than making big promises. He thinks protecting you speaks louder than compliments ever could. Then there are moments when his silence is full of admiration. He watches you talk, sees your passion, hears your laughter, and instead of speaking, he just takes it in. He studies the way you move, the way you think, the way you react. He listens deeply because he's trying to understand you, not respond quickly. That kind of silence is not empty, it's focused. It's appreciation. It's interest. It's a man realizing he's dealing with more than just attraction. He's dealing with a woman who has touched something in him he didn't expect. A man's silence can also mean he's trying to figure out how to step up. He's thinking about what role he wants to play in your life. He's asking himself whether he can provide, protect, and be the man he knows you deserve. He might be planning his next move, trying to level up, or sorting out his own flaws quietly before bringing you into his world. Silence is his preparation stage. And sometimes his silence is simply awe. He never expected someone like you to walk into his life, so instead of speaking, he tries to absorb it. Men don't always confess their feelings, but if you see a man getting quiet around you, watching you, showing up for you, and acting differently than he does with others, that silence is not distance. That silence is desire he doesn't yet know how to express. When a man admires a woman, he doesn't always say it, but he shows it through protection, attention, and small sacrifices that most people overlook. A man rarely announces his admiration directly because that feels too vulnerable, too exposed, too risky. Instead, he lets his actions do the talking. And the thing about men is this: their actions are always more honest than their words. When a man truly cares, you'll see it in the little ways he adjusts himself to make your life a little easier, even if he never says a word about it. A man who admires you will start paying attention to things you don't even know you're showing. He notices when you're not your usual self. He notices when your tone changes, when your energy drops, when your smile doesn't reach your eyes. He picks up on the little details because that's how his admiration works. It tunes him into you. It makes him alert. It makes him care in ways he can't hide. And even though he might not ask directly, his behavior tells you he's checking in, he's watching over you, he's invested, protection.